everyone, welcome to What Do You Think? My name is Nancy Wallace, and the name of the show is What Do You Think? And today, I'm going to announce this show, and next week's show will be my last live show that I will be doing on Blog Talk. I've been on here for a little while now. We've had a lot of very interesting conversations with my guests. There's a whole bunch of other interviews I have done that people can always check out. But today, I'm not going to give you the announcement about we're not going to do any bashing. We are going to try to bring as much truth to you as we can. You may not agree with this. You may not even like what we have to say. And that's all okay. It's all okay. It works well. We are trying to make sure that people understand what is going on in the world and has been going on for at least the last 100 years. So we're going to bring everything kind of up to snuff at what's gone on for the last 100 years. And my producer and myself will be the one doing the show. I do not have any guests. But if you would like to call in, make a comment or a statement, you're more than welcome to do that. So my person that's going to be talking with me today will be my producer. So let's get started.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Unfortunately, I've got crosstalk here. I hear you speaking. It seems like a delay, a time lag. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, and I could hear the other talk going on and the music getting screwed up, which so that anybody who hears this understands this actually happens to us a lot. And today and next week, maybe more than ever, but that's all right. We're going to deal with it, and we're just going to keep on going, and hopefully it will help people to understand some of the truth. So where would you like to start today, Steve?
Well, I would like to start with a disclaimer right now. And the disclaimer is that the reason why we've got this chatter going on, we have stereo chatter, is because the powers that be do not want me on the air today to say what I'm about to say. So for those of you that are listening, I want you to be patient with this conversation and listen very closely, because we are about to wake up America today.
Good. See, I hear you in the background.
So for those, I want you to be patient with this conversation and listen very closely, because we are about to wake up America today. So Nancy, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the next decade, and after I get done with the 1930s, then you can speak, and that way the listener will be able to hear this and understand this, even though we've got shenanigans.
Okay.
1930s. Adolph Hitler sent George Herbert Scherf, Sr., an illegal German immigrant who went to work for the world's greatest inventor, Nikola Tesla. He brought his son, George H. Scherf, Jr., with him to work at Nikola Tesla's laboratories. His name is known to you as George Herbert Walker Bush. In the 1930s, the father and son began stealing Nikola Tesla's inventions and giving the information to Adolf Hitler to help win World War II. When Tesla caught young George Scherf stealing, he gave him the nickname Curious George.
Okay, that's how he got his name.
In 1943, Otto Skorzeny, who was a Hitler bodyguard with the help of Nazis, Reinhold Gehlen, paid a visit to Nikola Tesla's laboratory posing as United States government agents. Otto Skorzeny then strangled Nikola Tesla with the help of George Scherf, alias George Bush, and FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, then stole all of Tesla's top secret experiments and confiscated all of his files and logs. It was then split up between the Third Reich and the United States government. In 1945, Otto Skorzeny faked the death of Adolf Hitler. He shot a look-alike, and then he and a female pilot flew Adolf Hitler to Austria. In Austria, Hitler was helped by the Vatican to secure documents and papers so that he could relocate to America under an assumed name. The name Hitler went by in America was William Coates. That's William Coates. William Coates. Then, in 1945 through 1947, Admiral Byrd took a journey to the North and South Pole. Nikola Tesla's stolen technology was being used to create UFO spacecrafts. Admiral Byrd describes in his diary a fleet of Flugerads, as he described them, that intercepted him after he entered an opening into the inner Earth. That opening can be found in the Trans-Antarctic Mountain Range in Antarctica. You can also find a video of that on my youtube.com/webflixguys website.
Stephen, repeat that, please.
In 1945 to 1947, Admiral Byrd took a journey into the North and South Pole. Nikola Tesla's stolen technology was being used to create UFO spacecrafts. Admiral Byrd describes in his diary a fleet of Flugerads, as he described them, that intercepted him after he entered an opening into the inner Earth. That opening can be found in the Trans-Antarctic Mountain Range in Antarctica. You can also find a video that I have on my YouTube site, youtube.com/webflixguy. After 1945, Hitler's former bodyguard and George A. Scherf Jr., alias George Herbert Walker Bush, helped 50,000 hunted Nazis get new identities and jobs in the CIA, FBI, United States Post Office, and other government positions. And after 1945, Allen Dulles and George Herbert Walker Bush had Bhumibol Adulyadej kill his brother King Ananda Mahadol of Thailand to ascend to the throne. Why is this important? Because once Bhumibol became king, George Bush Sr. and the CIA set up a global opium drug network, processing the opium in Thailand and then sending it to Germany, where it was then added to pharmaceutical products. In the 1960s, the money was laundered through Thailand banks. In 1960, Bhumibol came to the United States, and this is when the Obama deception was spawned. Barack Obama is really the son of Bhumibol Adulyadej of Thailand, and his mother is Queen Sirikit of Thailand. He is not born to Barack Hussein Obama from Kenya. That is all a lie, and I can prove it. In 1960, John Kennedy was trying to dismantle the FBI and CIA and the drug running from Southeast Asia because George Bush and the others were trying to make all the Americans drug addicts. In 1963, George Bush Sr., the CIA and Secret Service assassinated John F. Kennedy. There are photos of George Herbert Walker Bush minutes after the assassination in front of the Texas Book Depository. He even concocted the two Lee Harvey Oswalds, and the one that was shot was not the real Lee Harvey Oswald. He was a double. After Kennedy's death, Lyndon Baines Johnson sent 50,000 troops to Vietnam to guard over the poppy fields. This is how George Herbert Walker Bush got his nickname, Big Poppy. Guantanamo Bay in Cuba could now be used as a place to stash all of the opium. From Cuba, the drugs were flown into Homestead Air Force Base under the watchful eye of the Central Intelligence Agency. The 1960s was an era filled with assassins. It was a CIA covert operation called Operation Chaos that killed most all of our leaders.
Oh, there's not an echo.
Here we go.
Oh, here it comes.
The 1970s, drugs became a major problem for the youth in America, thanks to George Herbert Walker Bush and the CIA.
Nope. They're hoping we don't get through this.
The 1980s, George Herbert Walker Bush is elected vice president, and he almost gets away with the assassination plot to kill President Ronald Reagan. In 1988, are you listening, George? George Herbert Walker Bush is elected President of the United States. The Secret Service, FBI, and CIA illegally cleared you, George, to become the 41st President of the United States, knowing that you were a Nazi spy. You were sent here by Adolf Hitler to create a Fourth Reich. In 1988, George, if you're listening, I'm sure you are, you had Adolf Hitler's vision now had become a reality. William Coates, also known as Adolf Hitler, had been living in Bethesda, Maryland, and was now in his late 90s. In 1990s, Bush was credited with a $300 billion bailout for the savings and loan banks. Bush, if you're listening, do you remember that? Most of the money was sent to Thailand and laundered by you to Bhumibol Adulyadej, Barack's father, when you stole the $300 billion in a supposed bailout of the Savings and Loan Association. Bush, let me take you down memory lane if I can. What about the screw-up with the Iran-Contra affair when you guys got caught laundering money for cocaine, where all the drugs were going to Guantanamo Bay? Do you recall that? And what about in 2000 when you devised a plan to have a public enemy number one, Osama bin Laden, and create a false flag operation and take down the World Trade Center towers with explosives, and mysteriously building number 7 goes down and is never hit by a plane? And in 2001, I went to the FBI with information about Israeli agents being involved in 9/11 that had stopped me in Montreal a couple years later, and then I became the hunted. And in 2001, George, you had Barack Obama posing in a CIA phony Taliban photo shoot, dressed, wearing a beard and a prosthetic nose, with his hand raised as though he's pledging allegiance. American people, if you're listening, and you've got this delay, that we've got this little crosstalk and delay, be patient and listen. Take out your pencils now, write down what I tell you. In 2008, I was listening to Eric O'Ryan's interview regarding a story that was told by him by Nazi Hitler bodyguard Otto Skorzeny surrounding the identity of George Herbert Walker Bush. After reading the information, I was unable to find birth records for George Herbert Walker Bush being born in America, or find his name listed on the United States 1930 census that was taken. He was not listed as one of Sheldon Prescott Bush's children on that census. And not long after that, there were attempts made on my life in 2008. Do you remember that, George? Because I remember it well.